All right, y'all. So I hear a lot, I mean a lot, about the independent boss chick. I talk about it all the time. You know, there are a lot of independent boss chicks out here who are just quite frankly broke. Okay. There are a lot of women out here perpetrating a fraud. A lot of these women, and this is not every woman, this is not all women, but a lot of these women are out here claiming to be these independent boss chicks. They don't need a man. Y'all know the drill. I'm so tired of hearing it because once again, I have to reiterate how this whole EBT food stamp thing really had a lot of these women, these so-called boss chicks that don't need a man, had them shaking in their boots, worried about how they're going to feed their kids for 1 month of EBT, missing. So these were a lot of women across the bonnet crew spectrum who are complaining about food stamps, but these are supposed to be the boss chicks out here who are independent, don't need a man, got their ish together, complaining about men who don't have their stuff together. So how is it in the same sentence we have boss chicks who don't need a man, got their stuff together, and all these men are falling short, but in the same sentence there's a whole bunch of these women who came out the woodworks who needed this EBT, or they wouldn't be able to feed their kids. So which one is it? This is why I say this is a sham, a lie, a joke, and a game. A lot of these women are not these independent boss chicks that they claim to be, but they only use that to try to shame men into leveling it up to take care of them. If you're such an independent boss chick and you don't need no man, why is it that we still see so many women asking for men to pay their bills and take care of them? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And I just want women to understand this. And if you want to lead with that narrative, then you have to be able to back it up. It has to reign true to what you're saying you are. And you got to stop begging men for money, expecting men to give you money, expecting men to pay your bills. Because if you're a boss chick and you're independent, truly independent boss chick, you don't need a man to do that. If you're dating a guy, date the guy, get to know him. He doesn't have to pay for anything. Now, I will say this. If you are offering to take a woman out on a date, then you should pay for the date. Let's be honest. But you pick the place, you pick where you want to take her, and you pay for what you can afford. And if she doesn't appreciate that, then that may not be the woman for you. But this notion that all these women are boss chicks and y'all are so independent, you don't need nobody. If that's the case, why don't you tell your bonnet crew sisterhood of the traveling pants counterparts that they need to stop begging these men to pay their bills and put deposits down to date them, which is ridiculous to me. Why don't you send a memo out and tell them, hey girls, we don't need to do that because we're independent boss chicks. We can do it ourselves, and we should not be expecting a stranger that is just trying to get to know us to pay bills, pay deposits, pay your rent, your babysitter, and all that. That is not a man's responsibility. That is your responsibility if you want to date. Stop assuming that men are broke just because they don't want to bear the responsibility of your kids and your nails and your hair. That's not for them to do. If you're not willing to pay for his haircut and his shoes and the things that he got going on, you shouldn't be requesting or asking and expecting him to pay for yours. That is insane. That is ridiculous. And nowhere in the world is that fair or decent behavior. That is ratchicity at its finest. And any woman who is asking a man to pay deposits to date them and pay your bills to take you out and pay for your nails and your hair, that is just lunacy. Okay? That is ludicrous, and it's ridiculous, and it's embarrassing that you would be expecting a man to do that. Somebody you're just trying to get to know. Now, once you establish a relationship with this guy and you are dating and y'all are exclusive, then that may be something different. But just to be requesting all of this just to date somebody is just ridiculous, and it needs to stop. I'm just saying.